back, folks. This is Acid Roots, and this is basically the finale minus like a couple extra minutes of credits that will show in part 7. But the game essentially gets beaten in part 6, so this is the home stretch here. So we're gonna have some fun with it and such. And I'm just kind of thinking about like what my next move is gonna be. I'm thinking about doing like Super Punch Out and games like that, but for what it is, hopefully you enjoyed that little Dr. Eggman clip. That's one of his memes that's been circulating on YouTube for several years. Several years, I'd have to say, so it's interesting, but I'm just trying to kind of figure out what I'm going to do. So no more Tails. That's kind of the situation there is. Essentially everything that we've been doing between this last episode or so is basically Sonic only. And there is an option of only playing with Sonic. If you want the extra challenge and you feel like you don't need Tails, you can actually just play with him alone. But I've always preferred to have Tails as just like an extra help. I mean, he occasionally knocks out the enemies and he can just be an added benefit. I wish more video games had like a computer controlled character like that. Like it'd be pretty dope if like Nintendo did that and Luigi kind of accompanied Mario as like a computer controlled or something. That'd be pretty sick. To play Super Mario Brothers the way Sonic 2 was set up. I'd like that. But so yeah, that was the end of that last clip, and now we're heading into Death Egg Zones. We're gonna get this knocked out. We are in outer space, and this is his. If you can't tell, this is based off the Death Star space station from Star Wars. And if you saw it in the stage select screen back there, it looked just like it did in Return of the Jedi. It was identical. It's down in the lower right corner. You would have seen it, but it's pretty sick. So this boss is really not that terrible, but you can only hit him like a couple of times before he'll go on his attack. You just have to memorize them. It's not that difficult. He'll either run across the floor like that, or he'll jump, or he'll curl up into a ball and go across the floor. But when he's on the left side, he likes to jump. So that's kind of what you have to remember. He tricked me that time. But as long as you know the pattern, he's relatively simple. Just don't get... The whole thing about it is just don't get greedy. If you can only hit him once, then say fuck it and oh well, because it's not going to take that long. So the same thing with the boss after this. It's the same sort of concept. Don't get greedy with trying to hit Robotnik too many times, because if you do and you die, you're fighting this guy again. So that's kind of the thing there. I learned. I mean, I get like a game over a few times and I die a few times. This was going to take up the majority of this episode, and I finally learned. I had seen a playthrough of this where some of the people are able to hit this machine a couple times before he even starts rocketing off, but it's like I tried right there, but you just can't do it. So automatic game over. You're lucky just to get one hit actually, but so the thing about it is I got to this boss as an adolescent, and I could not figure out the pattern for him, and I just thought it was too difficult, and it took me years to finally, I mean, it was just recent that I finally said, hey, you know, it just snapped into my head and said, you know, you could probably beat this fucking game. So that was like the whole thing there, and I finally did, so. But this is kind of, as long as you don't get greedy with trying to attack the bosses, it shouldn't really matter. It's just an intricate process. I mean, I do die in this, but it's just because I start getting impatient. Not so much greedy, it's more impatient, because that happens when you die too much in video games. You start getting impatient, you want to hasten this, and that's kind of the point, is it's trying to get you to not hasten it. But I mean, I'll tell you, for people back in 1993 who didn't have internet and ways of looking up the cheat codes, it had to have been a whole bastard having to do this whole game over. I can't even imagine people back in the 90s having to play this like that. It just would have been a bastard and a half. But, I mean, because that's the thing. You have like 3, 6, 5, 8 lives, something like that, and you die and you lose them all. And it's like, okay, you don't get any more. So, Sega knew. They knew. But that's the easiest. That's the easiest way to attack him, is when he lands on the ground, because his belly goes forward and it's easier to hit. So. You know, Dr. Eggman's little robot or machine pod thing that he floats around in, they never really said what the name of it is. They never gave it a name. Like, I don't even know if it's called like his attack pod or what it is. I mean, they never really established that. He's just always in it, and he always floats around. He's in that probably 80% of the time or so, but it never got an official name. And I think it needs one. I wish the Sonic movies would kind of say what it's called, so you knew what it... It's pretty nifty. I mean, it would be nice to have one of those. You go to the grocery store and that son of a bitch. You know, you wouldn't have to wait at red lights. Wouldn't have to do any of that crap. So, you could... Some step on it, Sega. You've got, like... I bet you one of those would probably cost, like, the equivalent of, like... Oh, I don't know. You could say, like, some sort of Cadillac or something like that. Cadillac Escalade. It'd probably cost you, like, $45,000 to float around one of those. Step on it, Sega. Let's make it. I'm serious. I could learn to operate that, you know. But, yeah, so the characters in this game are still relatively slight. I mean, that's the thing, when you look at it, really in the first game, Sonic the Hedgehog 1, the only characters that were really established was just Sonic and then Eggman. But they did add Tails in this, but it's just so... I mean, basically you're just saving the day and there's not really much. There's no conversation whatsoever, so Sonic never talks. And this is kind of weird because you just go through the game. I mean, at least in Mario, the characters will say, sorry, but our princess is in another castle, but there's just no language of any sort. It's just this kind of, you know, you're just in an ongoing battle, you're just propped right in the middle of it. So, I think I do start figuring out this process a little bit, so. Just keep hitting him. But the thing about it is he takes like 12 or 13 hits, something like that. You really have to knock the shit out of him. So. I am hungry. Got some stuff to do. Gotta... hungry. I need food. Can't have, like I said in the last episode, I can't have Wendy's spicy chicken sandwiches anymore, which really does piss me off. So, that's something I would like to snack on, but I just am unable. So, yeah, so that's kind of the situation. Jalapenos are my enemy right now. I can't have nachos and jalapenos, which is pretty good. I mean, it makes it real spicy. That used to be fun, having nachos and cheese and then the jalapenos on top of it. It's just real good stuff. Can't do that crap. So. Yep, just got too greedy. Got a game over. It's like, back to start. So, that's kind of the thing. Kind of running out of things to necessarily yap about. Just trying to figure out what to do. Yeah, I don't have an overabundance on my brain. Had one of my watermelon sodas. Those are still pretty dope. What else is going on? Like, Mortal Kombat is coming out pretty soon. I don't know if I'm gonna see it. I mean, I know HBO Max is supposed to be something real kind of exquisite, but I really just prefer going to the movie theaters. It's so much more of an art. I mean, the seats are getting more comfortable, and the popcorn is always good, and there's actually like movie theaters in my town where you can drink alcohol and have like well, not nachos, but like full-blown meals while they'll bring you a plate of food while you're watching the theater. Is pretty dope. I mean, surely some of you folks across the country and countries probably have that same function, but just to kind of say that now you can order like a 3-star meal while watching like a $15 movie, pretty good. I'm losing the point I'm trying to make here, but yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, I was talking about Mortal Kombat. Yeah, to be able to see that in theaters is just easier. So, it's an event, you know. It's not so much an event just gathering around a living room. It's not as fun without surround sound and that sort of shit. So, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 comes out in about a year. The movie, so it's April, I think. April 2022, something like that, unless it gets delayed because of COVID and crap. These Sonic movies are just plagued with COVID-19 crap. And the first one came out just weeks before COVID started happening. I remember that. It was between that and there were other movies I don't remember, but I think this is the playthrough where I actually trump this guy. This is going to take a while because his process is so slow. And they're just baiting you. They completely want you to keep attacking, so you'll die and have to fight both bosses over again. And I learned after a couple of times it just isn't worth it. Just hit him once and then be on your way, and then dodge the attack, and then he'll rocket off, and then you'll do it again. So that's the only opening that I could really see where it's able to hit him, but he does use that move quite a bit. He doesn't do like the rocket hand attack, at least I don't think when he's walking at you, so. I like keeping him at the right side of the screen, because when you have to reverse it, if you go to the left side of the screen, he'll turn around, and then you have to do it in reverse like in a fighting game if you get flipped to the other side, so I just prefer keeping him over here. It's easier. See, this is tempting. It's like, hit him, go ahead and try. It's like, nope. Doesn't matter if you get him to 9 or 10 hits and you only have 2 left. If you get hit once, you're out of there. Get one shot. That's the whole temptation. That's what makes this game so appealing, is it's such a brilliant game, but then all your skills are utilized in this last fight. And like I said, I would definitely not want to do this back in 1993, but we just got a minute left, folks. We're going to get to the credits, and then I'll probably do the credits after this and upload both episodes, and that'll be it. And that almost killed me. You saw that. That would have really pissed me off right there if that had happened. I remember thinking that too when I was playing it. Get this show on the road. And that just happens automatically. You don't actually run out of here. It just, the game takes over after that. That's Sonic 2, folks. They're just watching from the sky, despite the fact that you probably wouldn't be able to see that. I just think there's too many layers in the atmosphere. But, you know, Tails was on the ground, so he knew. He just got in his plane and was like, okay. So. Alright, folks, so subscribe for more fun. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful night, and stay tuned for the credits.